Tonight, long-awaited changes for Spencer Golf school students as the mask mandate comes to an end in classrooms. And 4 teens arrested after an alleged joyride around Wallaroo and Kadina.
From our 7 Spencer Golf Studios, your nightly news with Madeline Kerr begins now.
Good evening, thanks for joining us. Our region's school students won't have to wear masks in the class from next week onwards. The Premier says it's an important step forward for many high school students wanting to return to a normal learning environment.
No longer a backpack essential. Mask mandates in schools are set to be relaxed at the start of next week. The State Emergency Management Council announcing that they will be scrapping the education sector's mask rules.
The broad mask mandate for schools is being lifted as of next week. Children can look forward to getting back to school without the requirement of wearing masks. Of course, if they want to wear one, they can still elect to do so.
The Premier says the decision was prompted by the latest modelling from SA Health, showing that COVID cases across the state's 500 schools were significantly down from the surge in Term 1.
I suppose it has been a bit of a challenge lately where we're often one of the last places left wearing them and people do walk in and forget. We supply them, but I've got a feeling most are still perhaps going to put it on.
As well as senior students, adults and those visiting the school won't have to wear masks either, but they are still strongly encouraged to in places of high density, with the state government also putting additional safeguards in place to prevent spikes in COVID transmission.
And in the event that we see more than 10 cases of COVID in a classroom, then the mask requirement in that school will be reinstated.
We are getting to winter and we are seeing outbreaks in schools that impact students' learning. So I think this is a really good way of doing it, that we bring it in as a risk mitigation strategy when we have an outbreak.
Local schools say they're proud of their students' compliance and commitment to learning throughout the start of the school year.
Students and staff have been outstanding in the way they've embraced this, and it's become automatic, a bit like bike helmets or reusable shopping bags. The children just do it really well, but I think some can't wait for Monday.
Edward McCarroll, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Almost 2.5 years since the bushfires impacted Kimber, now vegetation is finally on its way to recovering. The Eyre Peninsula Landscape Board has worked closely with landowners to restore the affected area in the hopes of returning things to how they once were.
It's a sight no landowner ever wants to see. Now, 2 years on, and the effects of the wildfires that burnt 14,000 hectares of bushland are slowly starting to fade away.
Yes, we're pretty sure they were lightning strikes at the time, and CFS and Bushfire Recovery went and assisted landholders to put them out at the time. But yeah, ever since then we've been doing erosion control works and management of grazing to assist the vegetation to recover.
The Eyre Peninsula Landscape Board began its recovery project after being awarded with government funding.
There were heaps of bushfires around Australia, particularly in the eastern states at that time. The Australian government decided to put funding towards the recovery of these areas, so the Eyre Peninsula Landscape Board got $100,000 to help assist.
The recovery program began in 2020, seeing the board work closely with landowners to stop erosion and pest control.
Make areas that are prone to erosion, to put trees back over those areas so that they don't get eroded. Been doing pest and weed control, making sure that the vegetation gets a chance to recover, so you've got new seedlings coming up.
The protection project now coming to an end after successfully restoring parts of the land. However, it may take decades to see the landscape return to its full potential.
After a fire, it might take 60 years for it to look like what it did before fire, but it'll slowly do its thing over time as long as we get that management right over the time and allow things to recover as they should.
Henry Millick, 7 Spencer Golf News.
4 teenage girls have been arrested after embarking on a joyride from Adelaide up to Wallaroo and Kadina. Police will allege that yesterday afternoon, the girls stole car keys from inside a shop at Westfield Tea Tree Plaza before finding the Mazda 6 in the car park and driving off. The police helicopter was called in to help find the stolen car, which was eventually located after the girls were seen pulling into a service station in Dublin. SAPOL says 2 of the girls are just 15 and 16 years old, while the other 2 are 17. Each has been charged with the illegal use of a motor vehicle and all have been granted bail to appear at Elizabeth Youth Court on the 1st of July. Still to come tonight, the Port Lincoln businesses preparing for one of the biggest days on the social calendar and the new and fun way to get around the Copper Coast. Welcome back to 7 Spencer Golf News. It's one of the best days on the Port Lincoln social calendar. This year's long lunch is shaping up to be the biggest yet, with an additional venue added to the roster.
A day full of food, drinks, live music and festivities. The Port Lincoln Long Lunch aiming to showcase some of the region's finest produce.
It's back again for another year, so it's been going for about 23, 24 years. It's a chance for all 9 local venues to get together and put on a day for the patrons.
This year will feature 9 venues with the inclusion of the Boston Hotel. With festivities kicking off at 12 o'clock this Sunday, Del Giorno's owner and operator is excited to put their special menu on display.
We're going to have our menu, long lunch menu. So we've got a lobster dish, we've got a chicken dish, and we've got some king prawns. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Returning to the long lunch this year is the charity group Zonta. The international organisation aims to support women, especially those doing it tough. Funds will go towards birthing kids and supporting those experiencing homelessness.
Every venue is donating $100 towards a major raffle, so $900 raffle is up for grabs.
Buses will also be available on the day, with ticket sales going towards Zonta. The event aiming to be a drawcard for those travelling to the region.
The experience of being able to go to all these different venues and taste the most delicious and exotic meals, try the local wines and listen to local music. What more can you ask for?
Despite the effects of COVID impacting the event in recent years, Chris says each venue has protocols in place to make sure things run smoothly on the day.
Every venue's got their own COVID plans all up and running, so you just have to be mindful of that.
Henry Millick, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Copper Trails Bike Hire believes pedalling is the best way to experience and explore the Copper Coast. If you're after an electric bike, a kid bike, a vintage bike or tandem bike, then this is the place you need to visit for your next adventure.
The only quality tourism accredited bike hire on the Yorke Peninsula is open for business. Riding a bike allows you to stop and truly explore the history and hidden gems the Copper Coast has to offer.
Saw that there was a need in the Copper Coast and around Yorke Peninsula. There were no real bike hire businesses. The closest was Clare.
After experiencing Riesling Trail in the Clare Valley, Anne knew it would be popular on the Copper Coast.
I realised how much fun it was to grab an e-bike and to go and explore the area. So we decided that we were going to start Copper Trails Bike Hire.
Local residents and businesses are enjoying having the bike business so close and say it's a fun activity and great exercise.
Absolutely loved it personally. We've got a young family who like bike riding, so for us it was a big positive when we saw it come across the road. I think we've hired them like 4 times.
Moonta's really at the top of the Yorke Peninsula. It's also really connected to Wallaroo. Wallaroo and Moonta are going to be connected with a brand new bike track, which will be finished at the end of this year, which is so exciting for us.
To stay up to date with Copper Trails Bike Hire, you can visit their website. Annabelle Francis, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Stay with us after the break. Excitement's building in Broken Hill as Ag Fair vendors prepare for a big return on Friday. And the Spencer Golf volleyball team on the lookout for more players. The details after the break. Welcome back to 7 Spencer Golf News. The Royal Flying Doctors Service will have an exhibit at this year's Ag Fair. Staff are excited to be returning to the much-loved event, hoping to reconnect with the people as they roll into Broken Hill Racecourse in just a few days.
The much-anticipated return of Ag Fair gets underway this Friday, and an organisation that has been there in the past will be returning once again. To support the Far West community, the Royal Flying Doctor Service is excited.
We're having a number of things in our area this year. Will be merchandise, our mental health team, we've got your back program, primary health. We're having the Michael Hughes Foundation.
Not only that, but an area will be set up for people to have a coffee and a chat with staff members and volunteers.
It's just a nice area. People can come meet our staff and mingle, see our merchandise and also touch base on our medical chest program as well.
The medical chest is an important thing for people who live in rural and remote areas to have. Most RFDS networks have them on station. The medical chest could be described as a beefed out first aid kit.
Contains medication, and also in remote areas a lot of the time people don't have access to chemists and all that just down the road, so this chest also has medication that doctors can prescribe.
They cover 19 areas outside of Broken Hill, which makes returning to the Ag Fair a great opportunity to reconnect with the people who are based in rural areas.
Not all of us attend all our sites, so it's a great opportunity for people in our network to meet different staff and see different things that we're doing around the area.
Ag Fair kicks off this Friday and you can get tickets from Shannon Electrical. Joshua Mercer, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Make friends and learn new skills. That's what's on offer at Port Pirie Phoenix Volleyball Club at the moment, as recruiters look for more players. As Annabelle Francis reports, the club is looking for some locals to put their hands up to fill the empty spots.
It was love at first spike for many volleyballers at Port Pirie Phoenix Volleyball Club.
After COVID, we sort of suffered quite a lot and we're trying to rebuild our numbers. So if you want to join us, that's amazing. We train and play pretty much just on Tuesday nights.
After a couple slow seasons due to the pandemic, the club is looking to recruit more players to join in on the fun.
Welcome anyone. It doesn't matter your skill level. We're here to help. We're out here to enjoy ourselves.
Been playing sports my whole life and thought I'd try something new out.
Club members say volleyball is the perfect sport for anyone, as it doesn't require a lot of running and skills can be picked up quickly.
Been out here since I was 12 years old, and I wouldn't want to play any other sport than volleyball because it is a fun, social sport that anyone really can play.
The club is described as a fun and social environment where members are able to play the sport they love and support one another.
It's like how active it is and you can make a lot of new friends playing it.
Training and games take place on Tuesday nights at John Pirie Secondary School gym. For more information about the club and competitions, visit the Port Pirie Volleyball League Facebook group and page. Annabelle Francis, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Stay with us. Coming up on 7 Spencer Golf News, Brownlow medalist Dane Swan set to play for a local footy league this weekend. We'll tell you which one and where after the break. And we'll have the midweek weather details with Alex Sykes. Welcome back to 7 Spencer Golf News. AFL superstar Dane Swan will be lacing up his boots to play in the Whyalla Football League. The former Collingwood champion and Brownlow medalist will team up with South Whyalla to take on Rupina. After the big game at Bennett Oval, Swan will be attending a sportsman's night. Saturday's football starts at 9 a.m, with Dane Swan playing at 2:20 p.m. And there's still no relief in sight for locals at the petrol bowsers this week, with some big jumps across the Spencer Gulf and over in Broken Hill. And while we've been lucky enough to mostly avoid the $2 a litre mark, it looks like it may be happening sooner rather than later. Joshua Mercer has this week's Fuel Watch.
This week isn't much better for consumers at the petrol pumps, with prices once again on the rise, despite the fuel excise already being cut. Looking at unleaded first, and unfortunately all arrows are pointing up this week. Kadina has the lowest price, but still saw a 6 cent increase to $1.93. Port Lincoln saw a 7 cent increase and is the highest at $1.97, while Port Pirie only went up by 4 cents to $1.94. The biggest mover was in Adelaide. After seeing a drop of 20 cents last week, there's been an average increase of almost 30 cents. Leaving those in the City of Churches forking out around $2.06 per litre. Moving on to diesel now, and there are a few green arrows this week. Port Lincoln saw a bit of a drop. However, it is still the highest price in the region. Diesel drivers heading to Adelaide will be happy they don't have cars that take unleaded, as it is the lowest metro area. With Kadina once again having the lowest price, with diesel sitting at $2.08. There's also some relief for diesel drivers in the Silver City, as it is the next lowest on the list with $2.10. Finally onto autogas now, and our viewers will be happy to see there isn't much movement. Once again, Port Lincoln is sitting above everybody else in the region, the autogas price sitting at $1.32. Kadina, YL and Port Pirie all stayed the same. Broken Hill has the lowest autogas price in the region with $1.18. Adelaide did see an increase in prices, however, it is the lowest overall, sitting at around $1.04. Now remember, these are regional averages and do not reflect one particular outlet. If you see unleaded, diesel or autogas cheaper, then please contact us through our Facebook page.
Time now to take a look at what's happening in the weather with Alex Sykes. Alex, it's certainly starting to feel like winter.
Good evening to you and our viewers. Maddie, you were certainly not wrong at all. With just a week until the official winter season hits, we have definitely been experiencing quite a bit of miserable weather. There were showers across the region today, and that's expected to continue for most of this week. At 3 p.m, Woodna was 22, Clare had the low of 17 degrees, and Cooper Pedy had a high of 24. Looking further out across the region now, Port Pirie, Kadina and Cleve all got to 19. Port Lincoln and Broken Hill were both 21 degrees. Port Augusta and Whyalla both reached 20. Taking a look at the satellite image now, cloud over southeastern South Australia with a trough is generating areas of rain in the far south and southeast. Locally heavy. Skies are clear elsewhere under a building high. A marine wind warning for South Australia as well as a flood warning for the inland rivers remains current. Moving on to tomorrow's weather outlook now, and we'll start with the Gulf waters. Northerly winds 20 to 25 knots, seas 1 to 2 metres, decreasing to a metre during the afternoon, and south to southwesterly swells below a metre. Showers forecast in the Eyre Peninsula tomorrow. Port Lincoln and Cleve are both set to reach a high of 19. Woodna will get to 20, while it'll be partly cloudy and 19. Port Augusta is set to reach a max of 21 degrees. Kadina will have a shower or 2 and 19. A shower or 2 in Port Pirie with a high of 20 degrees there. Clare 17, and over the border at Broken Hill also showers and 19 degrees. Taking a look further through the week now, partly cloudy conditions are expected on Friday, except in Port Lincoln, Adelaide and Broken Hill, where they will have possible showers. Port Augusta, Port Pirie, Woodna and Cooper Pedy all to top 20, while it is set to reach 18, Kadina 19. Let's take a look at the weekend's forecast now. Showers forecast in Woodna, Port Lincoln, Kadina and Adelaide, Whyalla and Cooper Pedy both 19 degrees. Port Augusta will be partly cloudy and 21, 20 degrees in Port Pirie, and across the border in Broken Hill it will reach 17. Showers across the region on Sunday, Port Augusta, Port Pirie and Woodna all 20, 19 degrees set for Port Lincoln, Whyalla and Kadina, and Cooper Pedy will get to 21 degrees. So apart from Friday, Maddie, we will need the umbrella handy. And that's all the weather from me for tonight. See you soon with an update. It's back to you.
Thanks for that, Alex. And that's the local news this Wednesday. I'm Madeline Kerr. Thanks for joining us. I'll have updates a little later, but until then, enjoy your evening. Good night.